Today we are repotting a hibiscus I thought died in the freeze.
Basically, this sucker was in a big pot, and I'll probably put it up on the screen, that just dried out, died. It didn't seem to have anything come back from it, and I was pulling everything out because, yes, I know, I probably could have done it before, but, you know, sometimes some of those maintenance things kind of wait until now to do them because nobody wants to do them in the garden. It's much more fun to play with the plants than it is to, like, clean up messes. And also, like, it was dead, so I just thought, you know, just leave it there. So it's been sitting on my porch in this big pot, dry. It hasn't gotten any love for, I mean, what was that? You know, like, even if I was generous, I'd say March, right? So however months that is. And basically I found that when I was pulling it out, these are super healthy roots. And I'm just going to repot it today, show you how I tease it apart, if I have to pull anything off or what, and then I'm going to repot it with the right nutrients. When I pulled it apart, I don't know if it'll refocus, but there is green. This is like a living stump, if you look at it. So basically what I would do, I almost don't need to do anything to the actual trunk of it. And this thing hasn't really had water for enough months, since about March of 2021, and right now it's December 1st of 2021, actually. I'm going to kind of gently start peeling things apart, see what can be salvaged or not. The big roots are important as well, but a lot of them, the tiny roots, are the ones that do the heavy lifting with recovery and things like that. This is all too girdled together. Nice. So let me see. Another method that you can do, some people use little tiny trowels and then pull them apart. I'd rather use my fingers because I can usually feel better and working on it. And you can also use water. Take it in like a pot like that and just keep dipping it until all of the soil is just rinsed off of it. In my case, I mean, I could do that. I might break down and do that. But right now, this doesn't look so bad. It's kind of like when you pull weeds out of the ground, you do it kind of in a gentle way so that you get them to come out together, all together. See, like that? So instead of like yanking it or pulling to the side, you sort of have that tension feel, kind of get a feel for pulling it carefully out. And if you hear snapping, you are snapping them. Just heard a little bit there. There was 4 hibiscus in that pot. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know which one this is. I was pulling and yanking what I thought was dead at the time. I do know there was a double orange in there, a double red, and a red capitio hibiscus. We'll see whatever grows from this. This root right here is actually attached to this big root here, and then it doubles back. See, this is definitely girdling, and this is the problem when it stays in a pot too long, which could have been my fault. Who knows? It probably was. So again, I'm gonna, right in the face. Okay, you see how that one curved back? I'm not gonna unbend this. Possibly do something without actually snapping it. I'll try to do that. I want as little damage to this recovering plant as I can anyway. Again, I'm gonna keep teasing some of these things out. Now, look at this beauty. That is actually a really good root system. Yeah, I mean, it's dirt in the eye. It's tangled, but it's healthy. And now that I'm kind of clearing it out, what I can do is sort of force it to go out more inside this pot. Just kind of keep it from reestablishing that spinning around itself. I've now kind of teased out a lot of the dirt. They're kind of grown together right here. So let me see what I can do with it. Don't break, don't break, don't break. Yes. Okay. Ooh. I don't know if you can see this, but God, the tension on this thing is... Okay, again, teasing it out, just like you would a weed. Or that kid's necklace of yours you really wish you had never given to your kid. There. Oh my God, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what's funny about this is if you look at it, it looks like the shape of the pot, the gallon-sized pot or something it must have come in. I mean, that's not great. So what I want to do is build up the middle, and that way it gives it like a space in the middle to send them outwards. So I'm almost going to do like a mountain right in the middle, and then I'm going to start working these roots around, get it to, spread out more. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure I put all of my additives into the soil. So what you can do is mycorrhizal fungus, which is great for establishing or helping establish roots and give them nutrients and availability to things that you wouldn't otherwise. But right now I have biotone. You can also use like plant tone. And in a pinch, you can use garden tone, but all of them have mycorrhizal fungus in it. It has like an amount that you could put in there. I'm just going to do it. They need direct root contact, so I powder it over the roots, essentially. Okay, so I'm going to start doing this, and then I'll probably use the rest of it and powder over them again. And I have hibiscus fertilizer, slow release, Nelson's, which is like Color Star or Nutristar in this case, but they also do Color Star. And you can refill these at different like smaller nurseries or get them not only discounted, but I'm just gonna, usually it's like a tablespoon or something. So now what I'm gonna do is try to splay this. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it because it is wanting to spring back on me. And okay, so now I'm going to do this because I want direct root contact. So not only do I have the fungus down in there, but I want it right on the roots. Okay, so now, still holding it down. Okay, I'm going to try and backfill it. Oh, where's my cup? Oh, okay. And you can see how strong those roots are wanting to return to the way they were. And you know what? They might, to a degree, like below deck. But I've done the best I can to kind of ungirdle them from each other. I could, once I get some growth out of it and it's recovered some, I could come back, pull it back up, repot it, and trim some of the roots at that time. Okay, so I'm sort of shoving the dirt underneath where there was all that gappage. So hopefully I can get my finger in there and kind of feel, yeah, okay, it's doing better. And as centered as I can get it. This is rose soil. I love rose soil, mostly because it's got compost in it. It's like 3%, a third, or 30%, 30. And it also has sand. Now, sand is great. I like that it has, some topsoil, some aggregate, so it's got like fine pine bark shreds and mulch in there. And then also the sand and then the compost. And you know what? Most plants love that combination. This is a slow release, so it's not going to burn the roots or the plant system in any way. And I'm going to mix that in just a little bit. Making sure that I don't bury too much of this trunk. Okay, I want it to right where it starts to flow out, what they call the flare, the root flare. Done. One of the most important things that people forget about or don't really think that they have to do after planting, and even I'm guilty of not being able to come back and do it right away, is watering. And when I say watering, I don't mean like wetting the surface. I mean like watering it through so it runs back out of the bottom. When you water, things will settle more. All those air gaps will be found by the water and pull everything kind of tight to the roots, which is what you want. You don't want the roots to have any air pockets around it. So I'm going to find a pot to put this in so that I can water it and not lose all the water. You got little worms in it. Excellent. Which is so good for the soil health. Ooh, I already got water in my watering can from my rain barrels, which, if anybody's been following me for a while, you know that I've got like six rain barrels, something like that. And I tied them together, and anyway, I love those suckers. Now, here's the thing with new plantings, especially anything that I'm concerned with I will especially make sure that I add things like, this one is just a bottle that actually has like where you can get all the way to the bottom, but so with Super Thrive, it's like a drop per gallon for nutrients, and it's micronutrients, so it's not the 3 major ones, NPK, and then whatever root stimulator, plant starter, this one says plant starter, root stimulator that you can find would be great for new plantings like this. Now I've just repackaged them into, see like that, it was from a Korean dollar store called Daiso, which I love. Anyway, so all it is are helping your plant start. And you don't just squirt it straight onto the soil, you put it into water. But generally, it's going to say a percentage, or an amount, a unit of measure, which would be like a tablespoon or a teaspoon or 3 tablespoons, which I think this one is something like 2 tablespoons or whatever per gallon, which is the root stimulator. And this Super Thrive is a drop per gallon, or in suffering cases, it's something like a quarter of a teaspoon per gallon. Generally, I eyeball it at this point. This one is a 2-gallon container, but now what I can do is I know that I can just squirt it. So this is so much easier than wrangling open this container and trying to dribble out exactly how it is, or, measure it or anything like that. This is just much easier for me. So I'm going to do like some squirts of these. This one, I'll probably have a little bit more because it's plant starter and it's supposed to be like 3 tablespoons. Okay, so now it's all mixed in. I'm going to go ahead and water it and try not to let it come out. One reason I love that I now have a potting bench. Otherwise, I'd be crouched down like on the ground over a bucket. I'm just standing over a bucket. I want to make sure that it settles everything down around those roots. And yeah, it's draining pretty good. If it's holding onto the moisture and it's not draining through, then you need to keep going until it holds it some. That's why you have a lip from when you pot, a little bit between the soil and the top, so that you can give it time to almost, have too much water and then drain through. It makes sure the whole dirt amount is saturated. And you don't want to do like little amounts of watering. When you water, you want it to be like a good amount. So if you see, it's coming through the bottom right now. Oh, it's heavy. So I'm just gonna do it a few more times just to get a nice flow going down below. And see, this was from an old hanging basket, so it's got holes right here for the, but otherwise it's doing pretty good. If I didn't have this air pocket, it may not drain as well, so keep that in mind. Yeah, it's coming through really good, if you can see. Which might be annoying, so just put a bucket below. Ooh, let's save this. So, oh, that's nice. It's like trying to put a marshmallow into a piggy bank. So, anyway, we've got good flow. I'm going to let this kind of drain down through, and it's good to go. I'm not going to put any mulch on it right now. In a garden bed, I would. I'm going to kind of monitor what the soil is going to look like over time, and that will tell me whether or not it's draining right, or if it's getting too dry. I'm going to watch it because, I can see it by eyes, how dry it kind of looks. You can pick up the pot like right now. Oh, it's so heavy with all that water. If it's dry, you pick it up, you can tell. It's like, yeah. Oh man, look at that healthy green growth. I am super excited. This is a plant that came back from the dead. Okay, this one's done. I'm going to let it drain. Anyway, yes. So I will keep showing update pictures down the road and let you know not only what color it is, because we're all going to be surprised, but also how it's doing. I might even pull it back out of the soil and, kind of let you see how the roots reacted to all this handling and things like that. And you can already see how much it's drained from the thing, and it's got a lot more to go. So I'll leave it out here in the sun. It's more of a part shade to sun area. Usually you want to put them in like part shade or full shade while they're recovering. It being a hibiscus that I don't want to rot, and it's cool weather right now, the December 1st. I mean, I'm still in shorts and t-shirt, so it's like kind of like the perfect weather for things like this where it's not going to get too hot or too cold. I'll stick it over here. Another thing is you can encourage roots with bottom heat. So like a lot of people know with starting seeds or pepper plants, tomato plants, even hibiscus, all kinds of different things. If you do like a bottom heat mat, which is, you know, a regular temperature that it keeps at, so it's not like burning it, it's not cooking it, but that bottom heat really encourages root growth. So I might bring out my heat mat out here and put it underneath. We'll figure it out. For the moment, I'm just going to stick it out in the garden and keep an eye on it. Okay, thanks guys. Hi guys, if you want to see any of my future videos, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support.